As we begin our ceremony, we'll have our Board of Trustees. Group procession again. Next, we will have the Seed School of Maryland faculty and staff. Representing our student body, we have the upper school students, 9th through 11th grade. Please rise as we welcome our graduates. Just a few reminders as we begin the ceremony. We are all very excited, but I want to make sure there are no noisemakers. And then also that we all silence our cell phones out of respect for the graduates in the ceremony. Good morning. Elected officials, honored guests, Foundation, Seed Maryland board members, fellow Seed Maryland staff, friends and family, and last but not least, my class of 2015. I welcome you all to Seed Maryland's first commencement exercises. Today, we are here to recognize the accomplishments and acknowledge the completion of a 7-year journey for our young people sitting in front of us. Their families made a decision to entrust the Seed School of Maryland. At ages 10 and 11, these young people sitting before us joined us, leaving their homes and transitioning every weekend back. On this journey, they have grown, matured, learned valuable lessons, developed long-lasting friendships, and became and will continue to be valued citizens. We honor you today for your perseverance, all of your hard work, and you all know that I love you dearly. Think of this today in the biblical term, the number 7 means fullness, completion, and perfection. You have finished this part of your life, but it is not over. It is just the beginning. Take with you this experience, the lessons and support that you've gotten from all of us. Congratulations, and I'm proud of you. As we move forward, please welcome John Tucker, our head of school.
Good morning, and welcome again to the Seed School of Maryland's first ever commencement ceremony. Today is the culmination of 7 years of hard work and perseverance. It also represents a new beginning, as 28 driven and talented young people will receive their diplomas and move on to the life-changing journey of college. For far too many, attending college still feels like a pipe dream. This is a painful and unfortunate reality. But the students in these front rows have proven that with access to a great education and opportunities to succeed, college can be more than a wish, it can be an expectation. In summer 2008, the families of the graduates and the Seed School staff entered into a partnership, each committed to do whatever it took to ensure that today would happen. Seed requires a ton actually, from all of its stakeholders. Our students are asked to grind 120 hours a week through a program that consists of rigorous academic courses, daily character education lessons, and receive a ton of feedback from adults. Our staff, they're asked to go far above and beyond the commitment of working at most of the schools. There are more than teachers, student life counselors, assistants, or deans. They may be asked to do all of those things in one day. And the ask that is probably greatest of all is of our families. We we ask our families to trust us and leave their most valuable, most loved entity with us and sacrifice precious family time each week for 7 years. All of these groups are willing to give so much of their time, effort, and talent because they know the generation-altering value of a college degree. And they believe that Seed provides the best opportunity to do that. I want to take a moment in celebration of our graduates and thank a few groups. First, I'd like to thank the staff of the Seed School of Maryland, our board members, and the Seed Foundation. Could you all stand? I would now like to thank every parent, grandparent, aunt, uncle, cousin, friend, anyone who represents the family and the supports of these young people. Could you stand? I'd also like to give a special thanks to Dr. Colleen Kirkland, Head of School Emeritus, who's led the school for 4 years and is moving on at the end of the school year. Thank you for your leadership and dedication to our students. And to the parents, you said that? And to the parents. I'd like to recognize a few others that are here today to celebrate with our graduates. We have Superintendent of the Maryland State Department of Education, Dr. Lillian M. Lowry. We also have State Delegate Keith E. Haynes, who represents the 44th District. We are honored to have the Mayor of the City of Baltimore, Stephanie Rollins Blake. And although I don't see him yet, he is here. We are honored to have our keynote speaker, Congressman Elijah Cummings. We thank you all. As I close, I'd like to leave a special message for our graduates. And I decided to choose a quote from an artist they may know, T.I. All you can do is handle it. Worst thing you can do is panic. Use it to your advantage, avoid insanity, manage to conquer every obstacle, make impossible possible. Even when winning is illogical, losing is still far from optional. Thank you. So now, as this being our first graduation, we're going to begin a new tradition. So I'd like to introduce rising 8th grader, Deborah Omani, to lead us in the Seed School Pledge. So the pledge can be found on the back of your program. And since this is the first time, I'm going to expect this one to be amazing. So everyone shout it out with Deborah. Could you stand, please?
Hello, everybody. So today we are going to do the Seed Pledge. May you please repeat after me. We are the seed. We are one. We won't rest. Until we've won. People all around us. Wonder who we are. We are the seed. The future stars. We can't be stopped. Our minds are too strong. We end with knowledge. And we won't do wrong. We are working harder every day. We are one. And here to stay.
Good morning. And it is indeed a very good morning. I'm Eric Adler, and I'm the co-founder of SEED. And I suppose, because I've been here from the start, I have been asked to talk today about SEED's history. So I'm going to do so briefly. In 1997, Raj Vinakota and I left our careers as management consultants and set out to build a college prep boarding school for students from underserved neighborhoods in Washington, D.C. In 1998, the Seed School of Washington opened. In 2005, I received a call on my cell phone. The voice on the other end said, "This is Martin O'Malley, and I just visited your D.C. school. I was wondering if you could build one like it in Baltimore." Martin O'Malley was mayor at the time, but as you all know, he became governor in 2006 and served 2 terms. He has been a great friend to this school, and he would have been here today, except that at this very moment, about 3 miles from here, he is announcing his candidacy for the presidency of the United States. We spent a year and a half working in Annapolis to get the legislation that would fund the operations of the school. State Senator Paula Hollinger twisted a lot of arms to help us get that legislation. Today, she is a trustee sitting right there. You may be aware that Governor O'Malley and his predecessor, Governor Ehrlich, didn't get along all that well. But the one thing that they could agree on was seed. Mayor O'Malley pushed for the legislation. Governor Ehrlich signed it. And then we had to negotiate a contract with the Maryland State Department of Education. We have been fortunate to have tremendous support, first from Nancy Grasmick, who was superintendent in the earlier years, and now from Lillian Lowry, the current superintendent, who, as you know, is here with us today. I also want to recognize Carol Beck, who was sitting with her, who worked for SEED in Annapolis to help get the legislation, and now works for the Maryland State Department of Education, helping to oversee this school. We also had to attract the donors, the lenders, the brilliant architects, the builders. So many people put so much work into getting us to today. The school opened in 2008 with just a 6th grade, but then you all know that. Because those little 6th graders sit before me today, all grown up and ready to go out into the world. You all are making SEED history today as the first graduates from this school. But just a few miles up the road in Washington, we've had hundreds of them. The first SEED student ever admitted to college was Sophia Echavarria, who graduated from Princeton University with a major in English, and today is pursuing a master's degree in creative writing at the University of California. I, of course, cannot name all the hundreds who followed her, but here are just a few examples. Jerron Bell, who graduated from North Carolina A&T, or Shakima Black, who graduated from Johnson & Wales, or Eunice Davila, who I used to see at my local hardware store, working when she had to take time off to earn money, but stuck with it and graduated from Howard University. Today, she's a certified dog trainer and animal behaviorist, and she owns her own business. Aisha Ford, who graduated from Ohio Wesleyan University, who is today married, has a child, and works as a case manager at a social service agency. Or Monique Matthews, who graduated from Southeastern University and has since earned a master's degree in public and community health. Or Ebenina Rose Thompson, who graduated from the University of Pennsylvania and today works at America's Promise, where she reports to Colin and Alma Powell. Or Tanika Whiting, who graduated from Howard University and today works as a forensic scientist in the Prince George's County Police Crime Lab. Or Antoine Coward, who graduated from Case Western Reserve with a major in business and finance, and then earned a master's degree in technology from Georgetown University. Or Patrice Murphy, who graduated from Ohio Wesleyan. She's also married with a child. She's lived overseas for several years, and today is a special ed teacher for a school district in Texas. Or Robin Tinney, who graduated from Temple University and is a teacher at a KIPP school. Or, one of my favorite examples, Darrell Lewis, who graduated from James Madison University with a degree in applied mathematics. Why is this one of my favorite examples? Because today, Darrell works as a math teacher at the Seed School of Washington. So now you know a little bit about some of the people who have gone ahead of you. These Seed graduates are all making history for themselves and for their families. Now, it's your turn. Because 6 years from now, I'm going to be standing on a stage at the first ever graduation at the Seed School of Miami. I'm going to be telling them all about you. So go out there and make some history of your own.
Good morning. I first want to give an honor to God, for today would not be possible without Him. Good morning to our honored guests, to our Seed community, and most importantly, our beautiful graduates. My research tells me that very few graduates ever remember what was actually said at their high school graduation ceremony. Taking this research into account, I have decided instead to focus my comments towards the families of our graduates. When I call your child's name, please stand. Sammy Ayadeli, Dexter Kofa, and Isaiah Robinson. I thank you for giving us 3 fine young men who give new meaning to the phrase, friendship is essential to the soul. These 3 young men have carried themselves as true compadres on campus. Rarely have you seen them raise their voices in anger, but instead have led with a quiet conviction, both in the classroom and the playing field. On the field, Dexter will be remembered for his leadership on the gridiron through both 30-point wins and 30-point losses. Sammy, aka Junior, will be remembered for his tough defense and cloudy goggles. And Isaiah will be remembered for working on his left while hitting the game-winning shot against our arch rival Gilman. While it may be a long shot, but not impossible, for them to go on to play professionally, they will all go on to graduate from Mount St. Mary, Bowie State, and any college that they choose. Thank you, parents. Diana and Michelle Ball. I thank you. I thank you for giving us a pair of sisters whose height alone could make one think they were runway models, but whose work ethic will probably lean more towards engineers or medical doctors. Michelle and Diana will forever be remembered for me for their respective summer internships at Baltimore Law Links and Johns Hopkins SARE program, where they represented our school with distinction. Mom, I will never forget our prayer together, and I am more than confident that God has heard our prayers. I have no doubt that Michelle and Diana will go on to graduate with distinction from Penn State and Dayton. Thank you. Latia Clark, Isaiah Green, and Ryan Warlaw. Thank you for giving us 3 students who exemplify the definition of perseverance. These scholars have overcome personal obstacles unlike any of their fellow classmates. These challenges would have halted the progress of most adults, let alone scholars of such a young age. Rather than making excuses or celebrate with a pity party, they have instead put their best foot forward and focused on keeping the main thing, the main thing. And the main thing is college. And I'm confident they're going to make us proud at Hood College, University of Southern California, and University of Wisconsin. Jordan Dickerson, Jordan Hobson, and Raven Washington. Please stand. I thank you for giving us students whose loving spirit and gentle souls have blossomed into maturity well beyond their years. They have always carried themselves as young ladies on our campus and have managed to become role models even when no one was looking. UMES and Elizabeth City are not only getting role models, but they are also getting scholars bound for greatness. Thank you, parents. Alice Johnson, Devin Tingle, and Chris Miller. Thank you, parents, for giving us 3 young men who could sleep through a thunderstorm, fire drill, and even a loud cafeteria during breakfast. The good news is that they always manage to wake up sometime during first period and speaking intelligently about the latest thing going on in chemistry or astrophysics. These young men will go on to develop a cure for cancer or enhance drone technology that will better protect the White House. I'm sure Congressman Cummings would love that idea. As they matriculate to New York Institute of Technology, Allegheny, and Illinois Institute of Technology, I'm confident that their thirst for knowledge will be met. Let's make sure we pack out our alarm clocks. Thank you. Brianna Melanie, Bermiah Quinn, and Jessica Smith. Thank you for giving C 3 students who give new definition to feisty. While each of them has a warm and fuzzy side, as well as a willingness to share their last, I would never want to be on their bad side. Their scowls could turn around the biggest and baddest of intentions. This attitude will serve them well when someone else thinks about telling them they cannot achieve. I just hope that Howard Community, University of Maryland, and Mount St. Mary know better than to tell them no. Thank you. Marcio and D'Amico Martin. I thank you for giving us a set of twins who will always be remembered as gifted musicians and, more importantly, true gentlemen. Amasio will be remembered as Seed's homegrown Ziggy Marley, as he played the guitar, and D'Amico for somehow being able to pop out his shoulder while playing the saxophone. Allegheny and UVA should be proud to receive such musicians and gentlemen who will surely go on to achieve academic greatness. Thank you. Jeremiah and Joshua Page. Parents, you also gave us a set of twins whose smile could light up a room. They were seed heartthrobs who could very well have been cover models. Instead, they were serious about their studies and maintained high standards of excellence both in the classroom and the hard court. While they had quite a few colleges to choose from, I'm sure you will be happy with their choice of Mount St. Mary. Just be sure to keep the ladies at bay, as the smiles can be as deadly if they're not careful. Thank you. Mike Bay, Antonio Wright, and Kamal White. I thank you, parents, for giving us children whose smiles and dance moves could light up a room. All of these scholars knew just what to do to ease the tension when academic expectations got to the best of us. However, don't let the smiles fool you. They knew when to get serious and hit the books while encouraging those around them to do the same. This characteristic will surely help them on a path to success as they go on to graduate from Temple, University of Wisconsin, and UMES. And to Kamal's family, we look forward to him graduating and going on to serve in America's Armed Forces as a commissioned officer. Captain Cisse and Maya Fulton. Parents, I say thank you. You gave us the world's next film stars, both in front of and behind the camera. Their creative genius around a serious topic of teen suicide is just one example of how awesome their synergy will be once they officially step on the campus at Keene University. Here's to see celebrating our first Oscar Award winners. Thank you. And finally, Stephanie Kiaka and Faith Watkins. Parents, I say thank you. You gave us two young ladies who cared equally about hair, shoes, nails, and eyebrow arches, as they did AP Bio, Physics, and AP Government. It was truly a pleasure having them dine at my home every 4.0 dinner, and I'm confident they will do the same at Penn State and Villanova. Just make sure they get jobs as soon as they reach campus to support their luxurious lifestyles. Finally, to all the parents, I thank you for three things. Your trust, your patience, and most importantly, for loaning us your most prized possessions. And finally, to the graduates. Tomorrow, I will go back to calling you the class of 2019. But today, I will submit and call you my class of 2015. I simply leave you with these three words. I love you. God bless. honor of introducing our salutatorian, Amasio Martin.
Good morning. First off, I would like to say that being at Seed was something that I would never expect to have been my reality. Attending a boarding school, taking college classes, getting accepted to a great college. Though all these great things happened, it wasn't always fun and games. Seed has fair share of problems. But aside from that, I have to say that Seed was a time for first. Notable experiences, unforgettable memories, and unbreakable bonds. Like most of the class in 2015, I came to the school with a feeling of uneasiness, ignorance, and fear. Fear of what challenges lie ahead, ignorant of the experiences I would encounter, and uneasy of how I would handle these new experiences. But through all the years that passed, companions lost, and challenges faced, I stayed strong and persevered until the very end. Like everybody who walks across this stage today, I worked hard to make it to where I am today. And honestly, without all of you to keep me strong through these hard times, I may not be standing before you today. It has been a blessing to be a part of your lives for the past 7 years. Lastly, I want to say that I'm thankful for my mom, my grandparents, and everybody who supported me on this journey. I can say that the time I spent at Seed will leave an everlasting impression on me and be an unforgettable experience. Thank you.
I have the pleasure of introducing your valedictorian, Stephanie Kiyaka. This young lady has persevered academically for probably 7 years. She's a student that would study late at night. We would always say to her, 6th, 7th grade, go to bed. But she continued to do what she needed to do. Stephanie?
I was really good till Dr. Kirkman came on, and now I'm a mess, so I have to get myself together. I'm sorry. Before I begin, I'd like to stress how honored I am to be given this speech. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak on behalf of a group of people whose relationships transcend the bounds of friendship for me. They will be the first to attest to how meticulously planned I am when it comes to these type of things. However, as it came time to write my valedictorian speech, I was oddly drawing a blank. Reason being that I wasn't able to find the right words to truly capture an experience as profound as my Seed journey. The idea of departing Seed for good has been, how do I say this without sounding too eager? Let's go with impatiently waited for. But now that the day is finally upon us, I can't help but think, where did my 7 years go? To the class of 2015, this is our time. Gathering here amongst our friends, family, and faculty, we are wrecked with emotions. But almost in unanimous opinion, we are ready to leave. Rightfully so, we are eager for the freedom to face the challenges of our future. For the parents in the audience basking in the glory of a job well done would have meant the culmination of a long and arduous 18-year process, I'm sure you're simply just happy it's over. Without you, we would not be here today. For that reason, you are justified in the obvious little pats on the back you've been giving yourselves all day. as well as in the less than attractive throwback pictures I'm sure you put up on Facebook later this afternoon with embarrassing captions that all your students would beg for you to take down, but you refuse. Prideful. It really does feel good, doesn't it? Yes, it does. As these years we are now to leave, soon enough we will look back and appreciate these years for what they were. As Seed holds some of our best childhood memories. We are and forever will be an integral part of this place, as the men and women we are today is indebted to this institution. Seed's greatness, however, doesn't lie with what Seed did do for us, but what Seed did not do. Seed never made us feel inadequate. Seed never discouraged us from daring to dream. Never treated us like we were just average, and never dissuaded us from thinking that we could not be better tomorrow than we are today. We were never told that we should settle for good enough, or that our thoughts were unwanted, or that our opinions, and boy did we have a lot of opinions, especially about the food, were irrelevant. And most importantly, there was never a time when we felt unwanted or unloved. Seed delayed the harsher realities of existence, but real life is here. We were without debate blessed and heavily sheltered, and in the coming months, as we delve deeper into the unpredictable world of college, we will find ourselves kind of lost and wanting that familiarness back. We will be continuously reminded of the stark differences in our upbringing, as many of us, more than ever, will notice that we do not look like many of the other students. We will regularly interact with those who see the world as a zero-sum game. Our superiors may not judge us by the quality of our work, but their own capricious whims. Those around us will lie, cheat, and steal, and we will just have to accept it, as this is reality. Today we say goodbye to the world of lockers without locks, to the world of having the confidence to leave a laptop in a hallway, certain that it will be there when we return. Well, as long as Ms. Reinhardt didn't get to it first. That definitely violates the AOP policy. Right here, right now, we are amateurs while many are seasoned pros at the School of Hard Knock Life. But we are Seed. We can be great and we will be great. Because what we do have is grit. Many of our most noteworthy role models can be found right here within our own school, within our own student body. So when the going gets tough, as it will, we should all remember Maya Fulton. Your courage and willingness to use your life lessons and insecurities to influence others through your filmmaking is applaudable. Dexter Kofor. You exude greatness as equally as you exude humility, and that balance is rare in people as talented as you. You make us proud. Devin Tingle. If there's anyone who can save us from the inevitable zombie apocalypse, it is you. So Devin, please, just keep being you. Diana Bob. Your overall cleanliness and organization makes us all feel unworthy in comparison, but your sincerity is second to none. Jeremiah Page. Your annoyingly positive energy and stand-up gentleman character is unmatchable. We love you. And Kamal White. You truly exemplify RuPaul's teachings of if you can't love yourself, how in the heck are you gonna love anybody else? And boy, do you love the ladies. You are a people's man, and you are always ready to burst out rather inappropriately in an off-key tune to brighten up our day. Actually, Kamal, I was thinking you would make an excellent Seed chorus teacher, but then again, you're a little irritating, cranky, and extra, and we already have Mr. Stewart. Not kidding, Kamal. Finally, although I can talk about each and every single one of you guys all day, we have to draw the line somewhere. Faith Watkins, it has been a pleasure, an absolute honor, being your best friend these 7 years. Your dedication to your passion for medicine and your pursuit to serve your country in the Navy is truly amazing. You will go far. We will all go far. These characteristics are not only present in the individuals I named, they're inherent in us all. I know at this moment, right now, you feel as if you have to have it all together, as if I know there's a lot of pressure on you to have it all figured out, but you don't. Let these 4 years be the best adventures of your life. It is the time to make mistakes, to fall in love, to fall out of love, take long train rides to faraway cities with people who you know, or maybe people who you don't know. I mean, heck, explore your campus, explore your passions, Minor in philosophy, even though you're a chemical engineer major, because you simply enjoy the classes. Because the more mistakes you make and the more times you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone, the closer you truly become to figuring out the man and the woman that you're meant to be. Do not let the fear of failure rob you of these experiences. Because 4 years from now, when you will be asked the hard questions, like who do you want to be? What career path do you want to go to? You won't have to guess or give the answers that you're giving now. You would know, because your college experiences have shown you who you really want to be. We are all C, we can be great, and we will all be great. Congratulations, C's first graduating class. We made it, fam!
In honor of our graduates, we have Mrs. Harris singing Conqueror.
I just want to congratulate the graduates personally, and I just want to say that as you transition into adulthood and people attempt to close doors in your faces and use the word can't in the same sentence as your very name, you'll have to remember this day, because today you are overcomers and you're conquerors. God has a master plan for your life, and it's up to you to achieve that plan. So, this is for you. Life is like a big merry-go-round. You're up and then down, going in circles, trying to get to where you are. Everybody's been counting you out, but where are they now? Sitting in the same old place, just faces in the crowd. But we all make mistakes. You might fall on your face, but you gotta get up. I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees, 'cause I'm a conqueror. And I won't accept defeat. Try telling me no. One thing about me is I'm a conqueror. Yes, I'm a conqueror. Oh, you got a vision that no one else sees. A lot of dirty work, roll up your sleeves. Remember, there's a war out there, so come prepared to fight. You never know where the road leads you. Not everyone's gonna believe. Even though they're wrong, don't prove them right. I'd rather stand tall than live on my knees. 'Cause I
before I introduce our speaker, I do want to say, Stephanie, that may have been the best valedictorian address I've ever heard. I'll have more to say about our speaker after he's done, but just as an introduction, during the challenges that Baltimore recently faced, a few people took leadership roles, some of whom are sitting up here, and stepped up to bridge the divide among the different constituencies engaged in the situation. One of those leaders was Congressman Elijah Cummings, providing a model for leadership for our own students, our graduates, to emulate. Congressman Cummings has been a trustee of the Seed School of Maryland since its founding, and we are proud that he is our commencement speaker today at the first graduation at the Seed School of Maryland.
Good morning, everyone. We can do better than that. Good morning, everyone. It is certainly my honor and my privilege to be here this morning. I'm a little bit lost because I've done so many graduations. But I really wanted to be here this morning. To the board of this wonderful school, a lot of people don't realize how hard this board works. And they are so excited about our students' parents. They go out, they raise money, they give their blood, their sweat, their tears. And it's just a phenomenal group of people who are standing up for our children. Would the board stand? I'm sure you've already been recognized. Board members, give them thank you. To our mayor, Dr. Lowry, to Dr. Kirkland, to all of the faculty, the administrators, the janitor, the cafeteria workers. Amen. Don't forget the cafeteria workers. My mother was a domestic, so I have much respect for the people who are so often unseen, unnoticed, unappreciated, and unrecognized. To parents, I know all of you have worked hard to get your children to this point. And as I sat here, I could not help but think to myself, parents, I want to thank you for fighting for your children. You got to fight for your children. You got to fight for your children. And I thank you for doing that. And to the class of 2015, I know many of you all prayed for this moment. Many of you all cried and worried. Many of you all feared that you might not make it. Many of you all on your way to this auditorium may have fallen down. But I just came by here to tell you that I'm so glad that you dusted yourselves off and got back up. That you dusted yourselves off and got back up, because that's what life is all about. We all fall down at some point. The question is whether we will stay down, being a part of the PPP, the pity party professionals. I just got three things to say. Number one, I want you to be careful, and parents, I hope y'all don't mind me talking to our children. As a father, I'm gonna tell them what I would tell my own kids. Number one, be careful and watch out for the enemies of your destiny. One of the greatest enemies of our destiny is distractions. Come on, parents, don't act like y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's the young man, lady. I know all the moves, because I live in the inner city. You know, the ones that are smooth talking. Amen. Good looking. But let me just tell you one thing about relationships. As one who has been around for 64 years, make sure no matter what the relationship is, make sure that you are related to people and you're around people who want you to fulfill your dreams and are willing to help you fulfill them. Don't be hanging with people. Don't be hanging with folk who are trying to stand in the way of your destiny. What's the song say? Hit the road, Jack. All right now. You get where I'm going from. Where I'm going. Distractions are something that are so powerful because most people never reach their destiny because they get distracted. There are parents in this audience right now, if you really had a talk with them, they will tell you that they have certain regrets because at some point they got distracted. Come on now. I'm just gonna take it a little more. And distractions come in all forms. And they are usually in the form of what I call interruptions. It may be the death of a loved one. It may be the school not getting into school that you thought you were going to get in. It may be all kinds of disappointment, somebody letting you down. And usually when we look at distractions, they look like bad things happening to us. When those things happen, I hope that you will text this, email it, Twitter it. Did I miss something? When bad things happen to you, do not ask the question, why did it happen to me? Ask the question, why did it happen for me? Because those things are brought into your life to make you a better person. I know some of you are sitting there looking confused. Well, let me give you an example, all right? I was dating this young lady, she was fine as she could be. Oh, she... And I got that dreaded call one day, and she quit me. Oh, I was crying in my Kool-Aid. But when I look back on it, when it happened to me, I said, why did it happen to me? But I should have asked, why did it happen for me? Because if she hadn't left me, I would have never met my wife. Distractions. I want you to always be aware of haters. You all did not, oh my goodness, you all did not get to this day without having some haters. Some of them, hello, some of them on you. But always remember that if there are people hating on you, it's not about you. It's not about you, it's about them. They look at you and see where they did not, what they did not do. And in order to deal with their pain, they have to hate on you. And so when the haters come, you just gotta keep going. You know, people tell me, you know, I used to read every article that was written about me that had my name in it. I stopped doing that. I'm serious. You know why? Because what I discovered that for every nice thing somebody said about me, there was somebody saying something negative. And I kept saying to myself, my life is too short and my mind is too full. And I've got too many positive things to do to allow my mind to be clogged up with people who do not matter. Last but not least, I want you to remember these three words: pain, passion, purpose. Pain, passion, purpose. Let me explain that to you. When you look at what you all have been through, many of you all have been through some pain. Am I right? Come on, raise your hand if you've been through some pain. All right, you put it down. Parents, I'm just up to the students. That's all right. I wish you could see our parents back there. But one of the things that I have learned about pain is that a lot of times when let me give you an example. Every time I go to a doctor or I deal with any person who's in the medical field, particularly African Americans, I always ask this question: how did you get into this field? What caused you to get into this field? 90% of the time, they say something like this: I watched my mother die of a heart attack. My brother has AIDS. My sister had cancer. My godmother was treated badly at a hospital. And what they're trying to say is that out of their pain came their passion to do their purpose. Out of their pain came their passion to do their purpose. So sometimes we look at our experiences in life and we say to ourselves, you know, why am I going through this? Why? And a lot of times, I tell you, I'll never forget when I first got to Congress in 96. What happened was after I'd been there about maybe 8 or 9 months, they put me on this leadership committee. So I'm sitting in the committee, right? I'm trying to be cool. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm looking at all of these people who I had seen on television. So I'm saying, what do I have to offer? After all, I'm a former special ed kid. You know, what do I have to offer to these folks? I grew up on the wrong side of the track. What do I have to offer? I got relatives that spent time in jail. What do I have to offer? My father only had a 3rd grade education. What do I have to offer? Mama only had a 3rd grade education. What do I have to offer? And so for months I kept my mouth shut because I felt like I did not have anything to offer. But I knew that I had been through some pain. So one day they were talking about special ed, right? And talking about how we were going to fund special ed. And a little voice came up to me and said, Elijah, it's time to speak up. And I acted like I didn't hear the little voice. Hey, Elijah, hey, you didn't hear me, boy. You better get out. And the voice kept saying, and I said, but I don't have anything to offer. Yes, you do. Out of these 33 people, you're the only one who's the expert on special ed. You're the only one in special ed. This is you. You're the only one who knows what it feels like to be caught up in a cage, like a caged bird, unable to get out, knowing that you wanted to fly. You know, you got to speak up. This is your moment. I prepared you all your life just for this moment. This is why you're here. That's why you've been through all that. And so suddenly I said to myself, I got to speak up. And I began to talk about my years in special ed. And the tears began to flow down my face as I was reminded of the pain that I had gone through. And so out of my pain came my passion. People ask me, why are you on the board of all these educational institutions? I'm on the board of the educational institutions because out of my pain came my passion to be my purpose. My final story, my father, God bless him, my father, former sharecropper, came to Baltimore in early 1940s with my mother. They just got married, and they came here for one reason, students. They came from Manning because they wanted their children to get an education. My father and mother had been deprived of an education. They had been forced to plow the fields and pick the strawberries down in a small town called Manning, South Carolina. And I'll never forget when I got ready to go to Howard University. My father, who's now deceased, my father drove me up to Howard University, and I had an old suitcase. They don't even make them anymore. But it was quiet. Come on now. And I had two green trash bags of clothes. And my father, he drove me up to Howard University. And I was so happy. And my father, I must say it like he said it. And if you need me to interpret it, you just let me know, raise your hand, I'll interpret it. He said, now boy, me and your mama, we done watched as far as we can. You know, we only had a third grade education, but we watched as far as we can. Now we dropping you off here, because they tell us they got some real smart Negro professors up in there. And this is what he said. And I can remember it as if it were happening right now. They're gonna learn you a lot. They're gonna learn you a lot. Now, you know, Jimmy Burger, his son, his son, you know, he up in there. And he taking over buildings and stuff. But you ain't here to take over no buildings, boy. You ain't here to take over no buildings. We brought you up here, and you up here to get education. You understand that? Now, you know, Shirley at the church, you know, Shirley's daughter came up here and met up with some boy. And then she back home. But then he said something that is embedded in the DNA of every cell of our body. I live by it every day. He said these words. Now, boy, I want you to go in them walls and get blessed so you can bless. So to class of 2015, I'm so excited about your future. Oh my God, I'm so excited. as I march towards the evening of my life. I'm so glad that you will have a morning. I'm so glad that you will be able to touch a future that I will never see. And I've often said that our children are the living messages. Parents, we set to a future we will never see. And I'm so glad that the Seed School and all the board members and the state officials and the faculty and all of us, adults, are sending you into a future whereby you will be strong and bold, whereby you will be confident and you will have confidence in your own competence, where you will be people who will stand up and be leaders. We got enough followers. You'll be leaders. We are so glad that we are a part, and finally, we just thank God that we are part of your destiny. We just so glad to be a part of your destiny. But as I close, we thank you for being a part of ours. You are our parents, and your parents know what I'm saying. When I said, my daughter said to me the other day, she said, Daddy, my daughter, she's 34, making a lot of money, and so she decided, parents, to pay me for pay me back. So she wrote me a $1,000 check, right? I tore it up. And I said to her, I said, you could never pay me. I said, because you've already paid me. I said, I'm so proud of the woman that you have become. I said, you are a gift that keeps on giving. I am so glad that you are a part of my life. I am so glad that God gave you as a gift to me. And I pray that I've been a gift to you. And so to our children, may God bless you. Be the best that you can be.
Congressman Cummings, would you please rise one more time? Elijah Cummings, you were born in Baltimore. You attended schools locally and graduated from Howard University with a bachelor's in political science. You were the student government president and graduated Phi Beta Kappa. You then went on to get a law degree from the University of Maryland School of Law. You began your career in public service in the Maryland House of Delegates, where you served for 14 years and became the first African American to be named Speaker Pro Tem. And since 1996, you have proudly represented Maryland's 7th Congressional District in the House of Representatives. You have served on numerous boards and commissions, spearheading efforts to strengthen the maritime culture at the Maritime Industries Academy in Baltimore, serving as chairman of their board. You've also served on the U.S. Naval Academy Board of Visitors, the Morgan State University Board of Regents, and the University of Maryland Law School Board of Advisors. You are an honorary board member of the KIPP Baltimore Schools and the Baltimore School of Arts. You have often said, as you just did, that our children are the living messages as we send to the future that we will never see. You have consistently and constantly advocated for increasing investment in our children and youth, which you reiterated in the past few weeks. Approximately 10 years ago, you received a call from Carol Beck of the Seed Foundation asking you to visit the Seed School in Washington, D.C. You visited the school and were so moved by the young man with whom you toured that you said that you needed the school in Maryland. Since then, you have become our advocate and eventually joined the founding board. Congressman Elijah Cummings, for your contributions to the Seed School of Maryland, to Baltimore, and to children of this city, this state, and this country, we present you with this honorary diploma and inscribe you in the Seed School's Book of Honor. May you forever serve as inspiration. Please rise. Ed Brody, you grew up in Brookline, Massachusetts, and attended Brookline High School, where one of your closest friends was 1988 presidential candidate Michael Dukakis. Though you've lived in Baltimore on 3 separate occasions, you've never lost your love for the Boston Red Sox or your Boston accent. And though you kept trying to get away from Baltimore, you always came back. The last time was just over 40 years ago. Soon after that, you took over a bankrupt company, which you renamed Brody Transportation Company, and which you and your family run to this day. You have achieved so much success in your professional life, but your impact on Baltimore and Maryland have truly been measured by the time and energy to civic engagement and community involvement. You have put your talents and determination to work in the community as a philanthropist, as an advocate for numerous causes. You began this intense philanthropy on the board of Lafayette Square Multi-Service Center, and you have expanded your work in countless ways. You have served in leadership roles for numerous organizations, including the Baltimore Opera Company, the Lyric Foundation, which oversees the Modell Lyric Center, the Enoch Pratt Free Library, the University of Maryland Baltimore Foundation Board, Shriver Hall Concert Series, the Union Memorial Hospital, Peabody Institute, MedStar Health, Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners, the Lafayette Square Multi-Service Center. You and your wife, Barbara, were co-chairs of the University of Maryland Schools of Social Work $10 million capital campaign. And you're now on the Maryland State Board of Physicians. In 2014, appropriately, you were named the 2014 Outstanding Volunteer Fundraiser of the Year by the Maryland chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Your connection to the Seed School is existential. 10 years ago, your son and my good friend Ned Brody told you and Barbara about Seed and its interest in opening a school in Baltimore. Through your efforts, we met Pat and Art Modell, and through your intensive, behind-the-scenes advocating, supporting, and cajoling, you were able to make part on Art to some of Seed's strongest supporters. Without the Modells and their incredible financial support, the Seed School of Maryland would have never existed. Without you, the Modells would have never been our friend. And you went further. Reach out to state legislators, to other friends and prospects and community leaders, bringing them to the Seed School of DC and advocating for us everywhere you went. You served on the founding board of the Seed School of Maryland, becoming one of our greatest supporters in Baltimore, in Annapolis, and throughout the state. Edward Brody, for your extraordinary contributions to Seed School of Maryland, to Baltimore, and to humanity, we present you with this honorary diploma and inscribe you in the Seed School's Book of Honor. May you forever serve as an inspiration.
And to present our scholarships to our valedictorian and our salutatorian, we have the Mayor of Baltimore, Stephanie Rollins-Wood.
All right, now I'm supposed to present them, but I don't have any envelopes. Am I just bringing them up to you? That would be a very sad situation. Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak to you today. I want to congratulate all of the friends, the family, the loved ones of these amazing graduates. Congratulate you on all you did to get them here, including all of the faculty as well, and to the class of 2015, I offer you my most heartfelt congratulations. You are here, you did it, and you are about to enter another amazing journey. I want to thank my friend, Congressman Elijah Cummings. I know that you were here to speak to the graduates and their families. I felt like you were speaking directly to me. Thank you so much for that inspirational message. You are a relentless fighter for the people of Baltimore and Maryland. I'm grateful to call you a friend and mentor and to call you my congressman. Thank you very much. To our state superintendent and to all of the dignitaries here, thank you for supporting the Seed School and the graduates of the class of 2015. So on behalf of the city of Baltimore, I am so very proud to be here to celebrate your accomplishments. The first ever graduating class of the Seed School of Maryland. As you know, your motto is live, learn, and succeed. I think that you are shining examples of what that means, not just during your time at Seed School, but also through your lives. Learning, as we know, is a lifelong pursuit, and your future depends on that commitment to that pursuit. So, follow your own path, do something courageous, do something bold, but just make sure you do something. That will be how you make your mark on the world. And I just want to say before I present the scholarships and the awards, to the salutatorian, amazing presentation. Congratulations to you and much success to you in your future. And to the valedictorian, I think the rest of your classmates didn't have a chance, as the root word of Stephanie is crown. You came in as valedictorian, so congratulations from one Stephanie to another. I said, and when I heard one of the administrators here talk about you and your other women, the other women who are here, who are not just dedicated to excellence, but don't mind looking good too, I have to say, don't stop. And I wish I wasn't joking, because there are going to be people that tell you can't do both. That if you look too good, if you try, if you care about what you wear, that means you're not serious. Please, all of you, be an example of don't tell me what I can't do. Don't tell me what I have to look like. Be you and be excellent at it, and make them accept you for who you are. Excellence and all. Lip gloss and all. All right? So with that, congratulations to the entire class, and I want to bring up salutatorian Amacio Martin and the valedictorian Stephanie I'm going to mess up your last name. Kiaka? Yes, I got the Stephanie. Please come forward to the seat.
Begin the presentation of diplomas. I want to give a couple of announcements. Life Touch will be taking pictures, so parents want to purchase pictures after, you can. But we're also asking that if you would like to take pictures of your student, that you do so over in this area. Okay, we're asking that every picture is taken over in this area. They will receive their diploma here and then take pictures there. Please welcome John Tucker.
So we're going to have high school Assistant Principal, Ms. Jennifer Myers, to call the names of our graduates.
Diana Bob. Diana will be attending the University of Dayton. Michelle Bob. Michelle will be going to Penn State Altoona. Latia Clark. Latia will be attending Wood College. Jordan Dickerson. Jordan will be going to University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Maya Fulton. Maya will be attending Keene University. Jordan Hobson. Jordan will be attending University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Stephanie Kiaka. Stephanie will be going to Penn State. Patrice Nape. Patrice will be going to Temple University. Brianna Dudley. be attending Mount St. Mary's. Raven Washington. Raven will be attending Elizabeth City State University. Abe Watkins. Faith will be going to Villanova University. Samuel Idelli. Samuel will be going to Mount St. Mary's. Isaiah Green. Isaiah will be going to the University of Southern California. Alex Johnson. Alex will be attending Anne Arundel Community College. Dexter Kofa. Dexter will be attending Bowie State University. Amacio Martin. Amacio will be going to the University of Virginia. D'Amico Martin. D'Amico will be going to Allegheny College. Chris Miller. Chris Miller will be going to Allegheny College. Joshua Page. Josh will be going to Mount St. Mary's. Jeremiah Page. Jeremiah will also be going to Mount St. Mary's. Isaiah Robinson. Isaiah will be going to St. Vincent's College. Devin. Devin will be going to the Illinois Institute of Technology. Ryan Moore.
Ryan will be going to the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Hall. All white. Kamal will be going to the University of Maryland. Antonio Wright. Antonio will be going to the University of Wisconsin.
Parents, faculty, students, honored guests, and most important, members of the graduating class of 2015. Congratulations on getting yourselves and the entire Seed community to this special day. In 2005, I met Raj Vinakota at the home of Ned Brody, as he described the opportunity of providing funding for the Seed Foundation to expand in Maryland and create a public boarding school similar to Seed DC. Having attended boarding school myself, I was immediately excited about the possibility of there being a similar school in Maryland, providing around-the-clock supervision in a positive environment. And I expressed my excitement to Raj. About 2 years later, I, along with 2 other members of my family, donned pink construction helmets and toured the brutalist-style masonry building in which we are now seated. Other than a few feet inside the front door, we could not see more than 5 feet in front of our faces and required flashlights for the remainder of the tour. This is very different from the light-filled Modell Academic Center today, where we see the wonderful vision of the Seed Foundation and Marks and Thomas Architects. Many times have I met with people coming to see Seed Maryland for the first time and entering the academic building at the lower grade entrance and witnessing the amazing aha moment as I walk them to the higher grade entrance that opens to the dormitories organized around a beautiful central outdoor green space in which students gather day and night. Many memories come flooding back to me regarding my own boarding school experiences as I watch students thoroughly enjoy the physical campus that has been provided. Today, you, the class of 2015, are the aha moment. I apologize that only the last 2 years of your tenure at Seed was on a fully constructed campus, and that you had to manage through yellow modular classrooms. But I thank you for the leadership and experiences you will carry with you and leave behind for future classes. I told this story recently at the chair service, but given that many of the parents of the class of 2015 were not present, I hope you will bear with me as I tell it again. My great-grandparents came to Baltimore in 1897 with their son, Abraham, from the Austro-Hungarian region, what is today Poland. They settled like most immigrants into a small house on Asquith Street in Baltimore City and set up shop selling various goods out of the first floor of their home. Once here, they had 6 more boys, one of them being my grandfather. My great-grandfather died in 1907, leaving my great-grandmother in debt from having guaranteed that several other immigrants would not become wards of the state. Of course, child labor laws not being what they are today, my great-grandmother could not resist putting her small army of boys to work, collecting driftwood from the harbor and ice, collecting driftwood from the harbor in the summer and ice in winter. Only one of the brothers would attend school beyond the 3rd grade, and he would go on to become a lawyer. Meanwhile, as the family grew and were lucky enough to have some success in business, the family moved en masse to Springdale Avenue in the northwest section of the city. From 1939 to 1942, my father attended Forest Park High School. He completed his junior year, and during that summer, his father, who attended school only until the 3rd grade, and spent much of his elementary and middle school years hauling and delivering coal and ice to Baltimore City residents, turned to my father and said, "Son, I think it would be a good idea if you went to boarding school, and the Petty School is a great choice." So off he went as a Jewish kid from Baltimore City to a Baptist college preparatory boarding school in central New Jersey. The rest is history. He thrived in Petty School, attended Princeton University in 1947, graduated from law school after only 2 years, and recently, at the age of 88, wrote a book detailing personal stories, his business career, but more importantly, as the title of his book states, My Life of Service. As he turns 90 next month, I was recently speaking to him about his time at boarding school, and what he most marvels at is not the sprawling 300-acre campus, or the university-like buildings, or many of his friends, some of who perished in World War II, and some of who he still remains in contact. But the fact that how his father, a man educated until 3rd grade, could determine, with no internet, that attending a college preparatory boarding school was his son's pathway for lifelong success. It still brings tears to his eyes today. So as I look out among the crowd, and I look at the parents and the grandparents and the cousins and the caregivers, it brings joy to my face and perhaps a tear to my eye that you took a chance and sent your sons and daughters into Seed's fledgling arms and allowed us to prepare them for success in college and beyond, and share this aha moment with you today. Thank you.
In recognition of the records and achievements of the students of this class, and by virtue of the authority vested in me as the Director of Academics at the Seed School of Maryland, I certify that these students have met the graduation requirements of the Maryland State Department of Education. I take pleasure in recommending to you the graduating class of 2015.
In recognition of the certification of these graduates, the recommendation of the Director of Academics, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Seed School of Maryland Board of Trustees as head of school, I take pleasure in accepting the graduating class of 2015 for conferring of the high school diploma. And at this time, you guys can rise. You can move your tassel from right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the graduates of the Seed School of Maryland's class of 2015. You can exit out to the courtyard. There's a reception there for the graduates to